I probably need to make a video just talking about this, which is the subject that's just kind of brought to my attention now, which is which channel the show should be on. Technically, I think it should be like on all channels, like for 10 years. Okay, this is how I feel. For 10 years, I've known that I'm Christ. I've known that I'm God. I've been linking with TV shows and stuff, and it feels like everyone's talking about me. And I don't actually know at what point what people knew, because on one hand, it felt like the people, definitely the angels, particularly more than any other, it felt like they knew about me because things that I would do in the day or something, or things that I would say, I'd look on their Instagram posts and I would be like, oh, well, they've just brought up what I was talking about today, or something that's gone on in my week. And so it's like I've always known that, or believed that they have known about me. I know YouTube did a change in their comment section around the time that I started believing that I was Christ, and I noticed a lot of singers started changing the dates to make it look like it was done before I found out that I was Christ. And the only reason why they would have done that would be if they actually knew that Christ was here, if they were making songs, or if people at the top of whoever are controlling the music industry, they knew that Christ was here, and they thought they were helping me in a way by making songs about me and then changing the dates to make it look like the songs were written before they found out about me. I don't believe people knew that I was Christ before I knew that I was Christ. I mean, how are you supposed to know who Christ is if Christ herself doesn't even know who she is? I don't believe you knew then. And I felt like you did lots and lots of songs and have been changing the dates. And it really, really annoyed me, that did, because it was like you were taking my ladder away, and you're also giving me false hope that you were doing this because in 2 or 3 years' time, it was all going to be exposed to the world, and they'll be like, wow, look how many songs sort of prophesy about me, even though, but yeah, the fact that 10.5 years has passed and still the general public doesn't know, I'm just like, well, why the hell did you do this? I mean, surely you could have just left the dates being the same and then just changed them, like, nearer the time, not 10 years in advance. I mean, I felt like that just had absolutely no respect for me whatsoever. So I have no respect for the people who are doing, I suppose, is Warner Brother a film company, or is that a music company? I feel like they do both, but I feel like I have very little, next to no trust in the people at the top who are in the music industry. I think there's some incredibly foul, evil people up there. Now, I know that things happen for a reason, and maybe they're incredibly foul and evil just because it shows how many people in the world need to die for this place to be fixed. My higher self can control souls, and I think she's deliberately found the people that are most hurt by people and built up some sort of evil army, that can help get numbers of this human cancer down to something that's more manageable. If people suffer, it's nice to know that there is a God able to make sure that the karma and everything in the matrix is working well. Now, if there's too many people, I can't do this. There's too many people for one person. God is one person. God is not millions of people. And therefore, there's a reason why the population should be smaller, because if injustice happens to people, there'd be someone that can actually manage it. And well, who could manage 9 billion people? So I feel like maybe my higher self might, if the music industry, the people at the top are all evil and disgusting for doing what they've done to me for the last 10 years, maybe there's a bigger reason for this, which is that maybe my higher self has just found the people who are most hurt by people, and then built some army up, and maybe that's the reason why they have no liking towards God or anything, because of some inner hatred towards something that's happened to them in their past. I don't know, but I know that I've gone through a lot, and I don't care any longer. Like, that's how I feel. Like this cancer has just gone so much out of control that I have no control over it, and I just kind of want to wipe my hands of this whole planet. That's how I feel. But I don't know. As a person, I've known this for a long time. I've seen tons and tons of evidence that I'm God, tons and tons of evidence that I'm Christ, and it's frustrated me a lot to look on channels that, all of them, BBC, ITV, and watch news that's not about, oh, Christ is here, oh, God is here, and then to go onto Christian channels and then just have them promote this he figure, which is not me and nothing like me and nothing that I wanted to be, and telling the world how, God can do everything and God is amazing and God loves you. And then you're just like, I'm God. And I don't agree with any of that. And then you're looking at everything else that you don't agree with. And it's just like, I don't know. It just feels like England TV, even though I preferred it to the American TV, because some of the news channels over there are just like, oh my gosh, BBC News is amazing compared to um, the news channels that are in America. I mean, I think they're all Christian based, and I think the religious people are definitely not on my side at all. But yeah, that's just how it is. And I don't know what to say, but I feel like I have a lot more trust for Disney because I like the Disney films. I feel like even though they do tell them in a sort of story that I don't really want to be in, I feel like they do more about exposing me and not hiding me. But at the same time, I feel like there does need to be a point where I'm sort of exposed as just a normal person to get people to judge me on me being a normal human. I don't know how long this will last or anything, but I think it should start off on ITV then, because ITV seem very good at hiding me. I mean, you've done it perfectly well for 10 years. If you've known about me for 10 years, or if you've not known and just been hiding me because spiritually you've been guided to just talk about, I don't know, it's so frustrating when you know you're time traveling, you've got like evidence of who God is, and you also believe that you there's another world that you want to tell the people about, or it's just things like going to Thailand and seeing birds trapped in tiny little cages, and knowing that if you were God you could say stop this, or knowing that every single second of every day people are getting raped, and I think I could cure this and stop this and end this, and then you look on the news and all they're talking about is, I don't know, stories that are just kind of irrelevant and specific, and not about me, and more about getting people to hate me. That case where you're trying to get that everyone make that woman look terrible for killing 7 babies, whilst at the same time I'm getting strong messages from my higher self through music, through songs, through films, that this planet is dying and half the population need to die. So God's trying to kill like 4 billion people, and you're getting everyone in England to hate this woman for killing 7 babies, or potentially, and making such a big drama of the story. I feel like things like that is just an example of how this England is not. I don't feel like England's on my side. I feel like they're on the side of people. The NHS is all about saving lives and helping people, and stuff like this, and yet for 10 years I just had people hurt me, and it's just like, you want to help the people that hurt me. That's how I feel towards English TV now. I when I first believed that I was God in 2013 and 2014, I could not watch TV, because every time I watched it and turned on the TV, like at my parents' place, it would start talking to me. It would pick up on conversations that I've had that day, or that week, or things that I've watched on YouTube, and it will start talking to me by like either recreating the scene, or if I asked something in my head, it was doing that. And I stopped watching TV for about 2 years. After it kind of died away, I did start watching TV, but it just became very painful, because it was like, do you know about me? Do you not know about me? And then it's like, so if you know about me, then why are you making out that, I don't know, finding a little bit of just new description from the Bible? I think that there was a number 161 rather than 666, 161 or 616 or something was the number. And I don't know, but there was loads of stories like this, and then looking on the Discovery Channel, and finding out, oh, the God gene, there's something special in the DNA, and being like, okay, let's listen to what it is, and then just finding it's just like a nothing story, and then people researching history, what the people were really like back then, and making out that they had some ancient knowledge, or ancient, there's so many things that I've seen on English TV that have just made me question, just made me think that UK TV is not on my side. It's on the side of, save the people, not save the God that's dying or being killed by the people. So I don't feel like English TV is on my side, and never has been. When it comes to America, okay, I didn't like how they did the Sabrina and made her far more evil than, I really liked the happy Sabrina, not the. But at the same time, if they knew that I was going to be ignored for a period of time, 10 years or whatever, then I feel like they they had a better feeling about how I would feel at the end of this 10 years, like I just hate everyone. Um, and so, yeah, I don't know what to say, but I know that putting that show on, that Big Brother show, and not putting me on, I felt like that it was a cold reminder of how English TV doesn't seem to be on my side. I think if you wouldn't have done that if you were on my side. And I think it's you are good at hiding me, and that there's probably a reason for that, and everyone has a different reason for doing different things, I guess. There's some things that I definitely don't want. But maybe in a few years' time, I might look back and think that was a good idea. No, I definitely won't be thinking that about the last 10 years. There's no point in my life will I ever look back and think, yeah, I'm glad you ignored me for 10 years. Unless, of course, I spend the whole of my life despising humans so much so that I just want to die. If I spend the rest of my life wanting to die, then it makes sense. Then I will be like, yeah, I'm glad you stayed away from me. Why? Because I hate you. That's how I feel, because that's what I've gone through is awful. It's not, you cannot understand how awful it is. To just feel like the whole world is literally against you, literally just trying to kill you, literally just trying to remove you from society, and not give you any opportunities, and take your nephew away from you, saying that you're not capable of looking after one child when you know that you're the god of the universe. Things like this, and then to have to live in complete confusion over what people are doing, or why they're doing it, or just not no one would be able no one on this planet would be as strong enough to cope with what I've had to go through. And I don't know what to say. I don't know if I really trust anyone here. I don't know who's on my side. And I don't feel like America is particularly a safe place. Definitely no. But I I don't feel like England's on my side either. So I don't know. I know when it comes to poorer places, you know, if the population needs to be reduced, then it makes sense for you to remove the people that want to go. That's the people who most want to go. And Christianity is a religion of suicide. All about getting into heaven. Putting heaven first, worshiping God because God can offer you stuff. It's not about worshiping the truth, and recognizing that God can't do everything. Why? Because if God could do everything, why is the world such in a terrible position? So many people say, oh, I love God because, oh, my auntie died, and then I realized the importance of God in my life. And it's just like, your auntie died and you want to worship God? It's almost like you're thanking God for killing your auntie, or something like this. It's you should worship God because you feel there needs to be a God here, not because you think there is a God here doing stuff. I mean, okay, I'm helping with the music industry and stuff, but I feel like it's evil, and then it's just like, well, I don't want myself to be evil like this, and it's complicated, and I don't know what to say, because I feel like there's lots of things that I can say, and I feel like there's lots of things that I also need to hear from you, because I want to know your side of the story, and I've had to go 10 years not knowing it. Um, and yeah, and that's just how we're in. And it would be nice to believe that UK TV want to help me. But if that's the case, why has it taken 10.5 years for you to why has it taken 10.5 years for me to feel like you actually know who I am? Like, I didn't even feel like you did know who I was a year ago. I felt like the singers knew who I were, but were all just keeping it a secret. Um, the celebrities were keeping it a secret. And I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just know that what else am I going to do? If I wasn't alive here, then maybe I'd be in the other realm. Maybe the other realm gets boring, and so that's why I'm here. And then 10 years isn't that bad, but it's an awful it's an awful thing to feel like the whole world is against you and not helping you and confused and can't hear you but loves to go on about how much they can hear you and can understand you and do know you. You know, it's a very horrible thing to experience that. And I guess I want all channels to help me because I feel like I don't trust any channels, and therefore, if all channels are helping me or working with me, then I would feel like if I feel less appreciated by one channel, I can go on to the next. Then I also feel like there's lots of different types of people in the world, and um, you know, Disney isn't doesn't come off as evil. Disney comes off as you know, nice for children. For that comes off as happy. So maybe it's if different channels do get involved in this main show, you know, you need to think about your target audience and what they're like. And I don't know about channels in other countries. I don't know what channels they have, and I know a lot of people don't have TVs in other countries, and unfortunately, you know, the people that are suffering the most are, if people are going to go, the ones that are suffering the most are the ones that um, you know, should go. You know, I am thinking of Madonna and her kids. You know, they are from the colored ones are from a poor background and stuff, and it's not fair to just pick on people because of not having much money, but at the same time, if they're the ones that are most suffering, if that's how they feel, you know, then it's not good for them to continue suffering when dying could just bring them back in a few hundred years time, when you know, when there is more things for them, or if you know, if everyone on earth is living a happy life, then no one will suffer. And therefore, if people do die and come back in 200 years time and still everyone is living a happy life, then you know that the people that are suffering now are not going to be suffering if they come back in 200 years time, because no one suffers, you know. I mean, you'll never get rid of suffering altogether. You know, there'll always be rows or disputes or, you know, problems. I feel like there will always be problems, but there shouldn't be as many problems as there is now. And if the people who are suffering the most problems are the ones, well, they're probably the ones that want to go most. You know, hence the poorer people are probably a better target, just because they will, you know, they're suffering and it's not good to suffer and stuff. But yeah, technically, I hate people, and how can I torture people if you're not alive? You know, you need to be alive for me to torture you. So yeah, if you are against me and if you do hate me, then I don't actually want you to die. I want you to live so that my higher self can torment you with in the same way that I've been tormented for 10 years. Um, but yeah, I don't know what else to say, because I don't really have an opinion on who I want to stay and who I want to go. I just think the people that want to go should go, and the people that want to stay should stay. Except when it comes to people who are worshipping completely backwards things, you know. I mean, a lot of them would probably just argue everything that I say, and even the Temple of Jerusalem, you know, I don't care where it is, and I definitely don't want to be living in the Middle East, because I feel like that would be one of the least safe places to live. So I don't want it there. So if people don't want the Temple Mount to be there because they're just saying that you don't want God to be there because it's not safe for her there, well that kind of makes sense. Um, but yeah, if you don't want the temple, the sort of the Jewish temple on Temple Mount, you know, if that's supposed to be the one that I shine from because it's truth, the Jewish people are just people who believe in me, not the people that are in the Middle East. But you know, if there's a different type of Jew, and I feel like that's my people, and I need this temple wherever it be, probably in America, but you could lie and say it's in the middle of the desert, in the middle of, I don't know, you could lie about where it might possibly be just so that people don't look in the actual direction where it is. Um, but yeah, you know, if people don't want that temple to be built, it's almost like they're saying that they don't want me in the world, because that is the temple that I'm going to shine from. I don't care where it is. I'm going to shine from a temple, and if you don't want me to shine from a temple, then it means that you don't want me. So there's different ways of interpreting it. You know, maybe you just don't want it there because you know it's not actually safe in the Middle East. You know, Jews, the English, the world, they're not the English Jews, the world's Jews are different to me, and they don't know who I am, and the world's Muslims that don't know who I am either, and the Christians too, that they've kind of got some things, but mostly it's backwards. The Bible, there's a lot of, not mostly, there's a lot of backwards stuff in it, or ways, different ways you can interpret things. But yeah, it's complicated. I think that it's important why people believe what they believe, and I can't judge people because I don't know why people believe what they believe. I know that I need to get onto some temple, and if people don't want me on some temple, then it could just show that they don't want me.